Good morning, creative stampers. Happy Monday. Having a little technical difficulty here this morning, but I think we got all the kinks worked out. So happy you are here with me this morning. And the stamp set that I'm using today not only makes you look very creative, but it also gives you various coloring opportunities. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Kristina Reese. This is Creating with Kristina, and I come live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on my Facebook page to help card makers with card tutorials. So before we get started though, so remember we are in Sale-a-bration, okay? And Sale-a-bration, wow, it is an amazing opportunity for you to get some really cool stuff for free from Stampin' Up. So we usually only do this once a year. This is the second time this year we're doing it. This is during August and September. And so for every $50 you spend, or that's before tax. So every 50, if you spend 150, you can choose three $50 items out of here for free, or you could spend, let's see, where's one of my hundreds? It's the Dahlia. I love the Dahlia. It is so pretty. Here it is, Dahlia. Dahlia, to get this, beautiful stamp set here, you have to spend $100 to get it for free. So if you spend $150, you'd get this one plus one of the $50 ones. Anyways, so that's what Sale-a-bration is, and I wanted to feature this Sale-a-bration item. So this stamp set you cannot purchase, okay? The only way to get this stamp set is to spend $50 and choose it as your free item. Now, this is one of our unique type of stamps where it looks like a pencil sketch, okay? It's very detailed. It was a hand-drawn picture that they converted to a red rubber stamp, okay? And that's one of the good things about red rubber stamps is you can get such tiny detail. And I mean, all the way down to the brake handles on the bicycle. I mean, itty bitty detail here. And I'm going to show you two different ways to use this. A lot of people pass this up because they think, oh, I don't want to color that. I'm not into watercolor, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've got a way to show you how to use this without watercolor. All right, so the first way, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in here. Also, I have my Stamparatus here. When you are working with such a fine detail, and I'm going to pull this up so you can really see how fine detailed it is. When you're working with something with that teeny tiny of lines, you are going to want to be able to stamp it perfectly without any mistakes. Or if you stamp it and it's like a little ink didn't get all the way on the image, you could re-stamp it into the exact same place where you had been stamping. So one thing I haven't done here is put my little face up here. Come on, where's my little face? Yeah, like I said, I was having some technical difficulties this morning. So that is what a Stamparatus is. You just put your stamp right here on the plastic thing and then you close it and it stamps your image. So it's like a really cool stamp tool. And it goes with either clear or red rubber stamps. It's just really awesome. It's actually called a stamp positioning tool. Okay, so back to this. I wanted to show you all this card here, all right? Now, I went and used the Flirty Flamingo ink on this stamp, and I'm going to pull it up so you can see all the detail. See how pretty that is? And then I just enhanced it by attaching it to Flirty Flamingo designer paper and cardstock and this Flirty Flamingo gold ribbon, all right? Another really awesome thing about Stampin' Up is all the colors coordinate. So the Flirty Flamingo ink, the Flirty Flamingo designer paper, the Flirty Flamingo cardstock, the Flirty Flamingo ribbon. I can't say Flirty Flamingo very well after a while. That's really funny. But that is one way you can use these stamps, is just with a monochromatic, really simple touch. But I want to show you what I've been working on this morning, however, though, okay? And let me zoom in. Whoops, come on, get up here. Let me zoom in a little so you can watch me play, okay? I've already started this, and the tools that I have been using, if you are not familiar with our watercolor pencils, okay, these are just regular watercolor ink, you know those circle palettes that have the dry watercolor pigment and you just add water. Well, that's what's inside these pencils, okay? It's not the waxy colored pencil like a Crayola color pencil. This is an actual watercolor pencil. All right, I'm going to show you how I use these on this painting. I also have an aqua pen, okay? And this is just a paintbrush that has a water barrel, so I can squeeze it. It says push right here. Whoops, get out of my picture. It says push right here, and you push it and water comes out. And I have an acrylic block here to catch my water, so I can have like a little puddle of water here. So see, I'm squeezing it. There we go, come on. And it makes a little puddle of water right there. All right, so I can just dab that in there. Now, another thing I'm gonna need is a paper towel to absorb some of the water, like especially when I'm changing colors. Okay, so I have my paper towel here. All right, so these are the only tools I have. I am so zoomed in, you can't even see me. There we go. So these are the only tools I have. I have an aqua painter, an acrylic block, my watercolor pencils. All right, first of all, one more thing that I needed with this is an ink called StazOn, okay? This is a solvent-based ink, an alcohol-based ink. Water does not mix with it, okay? So as soon as it dries, if I get any water on it, it's not gonna bleed, it's not gonna smear, nothing, okay? It is a solvent-based ink. And the reason I'm using it is because I want to use my water aqua painter and my watercolors, but I don't want the black lines of the stamp to smear, okay? All right, so you need a solvent ink for when getting this technique here. All right, back to my comments. I was moving everything around and I've missed everybody's comments here. Wow, we've got a lively group this morning. Good morning, you guys. Hey, love it. All right, so back to my watercolor. So like I said, I've already kind of started here. That way we didn't take all morning doing this. And all I did, so we have a basic gray here, and I just colored on the bricks and on the door frame, okay, and a little on the bicycle. And then I just took my aqua painter and I just got the pigment wet and made watercolor. And I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. I took the blue, made this a blue bicycle. I didn't want a blue basket with a blue bike, but I didn't want one of the other colors, so I kind of went with an aqua basket. So it's still, you can see the basket separate from the bike, but it's still in the blue family. These plants here, I kind of put green and pink and kind of just dab the water around so it looks like I've got some a flower pot hanging by the door. Over here, I use different shades of green. I've got the granny apple, the old olive, the shaded spruce. I used pumpkin pie here to get that terracotta look, and then just regular brown espresso to get some wood here. Now, we're gonna paint the door, and I'm gonna show you exactly how, and we're gonna put some light in the window, all right? So, now let me zoom in really, really close so you guys can see what I'm doing. Move everybody over so you're in the center of the picture. All right, here we go. Now we have our door. We've got this. I want a red door. Don't you all love red doors? Okay, and I have the tip of the brush. Now, before I do anything, I'm just gonna take my pencil and I'm just gonna go ahead and get some red ink, red watercolor all over this door. Okay, be careful not to get in my window. Don't want red in my window, okay. All right, there we go. That's enough. I just want to get a good red background. So then pull this over so you all can see it better. Anyways, I'm just getting my aqua painter a little wet. I don't want a whole bunch of water, okay? I don't want a whole bunch of water. And I'm not even going to paint. I am just dabbing, okay? I'm hardly even painting. I'm just getting water on here, okay? I'm just kind of shaking my hand as I go around. And I'm just wetting this pigment that was in the pencil, okay? And I'm just going all over. I'll get some detail here in just a minute, but right now I just want to get a good red all over, okay? All right. Here, that, okay. All right, so far so good. Got a nice red door. Okay, Katie asked, can you use Mementos ink with the Stampin' Right markers, or do you need to use StazOn? All right, Katie, so what it is, if you're going to use water, you need stays on if you don't want the ink to move. If I had stamped this in mementos, where I just did that, all that black where the stamp is would have bled through. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let me just get a sample here. It's a good question, and I really, really want you all to understand what the heck I'm talking about. So let me get, we'll use this cute little tulip pot here. Okay, I love this stamp set. It's got this really precious tulip pop. And I'm not going to be using this part of my watercolor paper, so I'm just going to use this. And this is the mementos right here, okay? And I'm just going to stamp that pot right there. Also be careful not to press down too tough, or you'll get the too hard, or you get the edge of the ink pad there. Now, we're going to let that dry for a minute, okay, while I'm messing with this, because I want you all to know that this is completely dry. See, I just moved my hand on it. It wasn't quite dry yet. All right, come on, dry. Linda, yes, I am using watercolor paper. When I want a watercolor look, I definitely get watercolor paper. All right, now, here we go with our water again. All right. Okay, and then we're going to color with our thing here, and we're just going to come in here with this, and now see how it's picking up the black, and it's just making a pink black mess. Can y'all see that? Yeah, just a pink black mess. All right, now I don't want that, so let me show you how I do it with the stays on, and you'll see the difference. So let me clean this stamp off real quick. And now I have the stays on ink. Like I said, Katie, this is a great, I'm glad you asked this question. This is so awesome. I should have done this in the beginning. Okay, now I have the stays on ink, and I'm going to take some red from my aqua painter here. Get a little water on there. Okay, and now when I go in with the tulips, okay, it stays red. Cool, huh? Whoops, move it over so you can see it. So see the difference in the stays on versus the mementos? All the difference in the world. So just remember opposites, okay? And your right markers, and you, Katie, you'd asked also about the right markers. So where's my right marker? This is called a Stampin' Right marker. Whoop, get in the camera. Stampin' Right marker. This is the exact same ink that is in, oh, okay, I'm so zoomed in you can hardly see. These are the exact same inks, okay? If you want if you want the alcohol based, you need the Stampin' Blends. The Stampin' Blends is the same as the stays on. All right, I hope this is clear. I hope you all are getting enough out of that, because I am here to teach you all. But back to our door. All right, now, what I want to do now that I've got my door red, back in the camera, here we go. Now that I've got my door red, I want to go in there, and where there might be some shading, make that a really dark red, okay? So I'm going to get some water, come on, here on my paintbrush. Okay, there we go. Some water on my paintbrush. And I'm going to pick up the pigment from the pencil, and I am going to come in here. Whoops. Yeah, I want that really, really dark. All right, so I'm getting more pigment here. Okay, really, really, really dark. In fact, I want it even darker than that. All right, let's try it on this one. There we go. Yeah, we're starting to get that really dark. Okay, and this is how you color with watercolor. You get a light coating, and then you come back after it's dry, and you put more color on top. Okay, and I'm just trying to fill in the door with dark red where I would have not as much light. Okay, I don't know if you, I know I kept moving out of the picture. Okay, come on, ink. There we go. And I just keep going over and over and over until I get it as dark as I want. Okay, Okay, and it just keeps getting darker and darker and darker. And it's really, really pretty, okay? And like I said, I'm just taking my, I'm trying to get here in the camera. Okay, I'm gonna have to zoom out, you guys. I can't, there we go, so y'all can see what I'm doing. So I'm just taking the tip of my water aqua pen and I'm getting the color on the tip really thick. And then I'm coming in here and I'm just putting the dark color where I want it. Okay, and that's what's so awesome about aqua painters is they stay wet. That's the really, I mean, because you can get a watercolor paintbrush, which is fine, but you'll have to keep dipping it in and out of the water and drying off the water, and that the aqua painters, it just keeps the bristles wet. It's really cool. Okay, I think that's enough playing with my door now. Let's get a little, oh, you know what? I forgot the frame of the door. Hold on. Let's get in here. I really want that dark. So, and very light. When you have to do a very tiny line, paint very lightly. Barely touch the paper. Okay, I'm trying to give y'all all these hints. I know this is taking a while to paint this, and that's why I started painting before I started this video. There we go. All right, and like I said, a very light touch. Just keep brushing until you get the color you want. Okay, any place you've missed, touch it up. Okay. All right, I think we've got a nice red door. Now I want to put some yellow in that window so it doesn't look so flat. Right now my door looks very flat. You can't get any depth. So we need some yellow back there, and we have the Daffodil Delight right here. And I'm gonna do the same thing, but I need to make sure my paintbrush doesn't have any red on it or we'll get orange. So coming over here, and I'm just dripping a lot of water through that brush. Okay, and rinsing it off, brushing it off. Okay, oops, there we go again, out of the camera. Okay, and I'm just squeezing, getting a lot of water going through there. Okay, and that time it didn't leave any red, so I know I'm clean. All right, so now I take my yellow. And I know it's wet because I just squeezed all that water. All right, and so I got a little yellow there. And where these pencil lines are, okay, I'm coming in here. Knocked me offline. Hold on, you guys. I have to reconnect my phone. I wish my phone wouldn't do that, you guys. I am so sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Come on. Whenever someone calls me, and I have it on Do Not Disturb, I have the ringer turned off. I've got everything except that whenever someone calls me, it knocks me offline. So I don't know what to do about that. There we go. It doesn't take but 2 seconds to put back on there. Okay, oops. Zoom back in. Whee! All right, there we go. All right, so we're getting some yellow here. Okay, and a little more water. All right, and now I'm just gonna kind of fill in the rest of the pane glass. Okay, real light. All right, so now I have the yellow light behind the door, and all of a sudden it gives it some depth. You know that there's a room back there. Oh my gosh, I hope you all learned a lot about the watercoloring this morning. Like I said, there are 2 different ways you can do this card or do the stamp set. You can either just stamp it and not color it like this one. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm off. I apologize. There we go. I apologize. There we go. Stamp. Go back to this part. There we go. So you can see that behind the door, it looks like there's a room back there. Okay. And then if you don't want the coloring, then you just stamp it in a single color, and it gives you still a really beautiful view. So these are 2 totally different ways to use this stamp set. The stamp set also has it has the cute little tulip pot here. Then it has I Can't Thank You Enough, Missing You, I'm Always and Forever Here for You, Your Friendship Feels Like Home to Me. Oh, and then these cute little vines here, and you can just re-stamp this multiple times. Really awesome. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hope hope you all have really enjoyed this. And like I said, this is Stampin' Up's Sale-a-bration right now. Spend $50 and you get to choose a free stamp set. But on top of that, and this is just for me, this is not Stampin' Up, but I am promoting this sales period a little stronger. I am trying to win the incentive trip, and I only have a month and a half left to go, so I'm really trying to get my sales up. So as an incentive, I am also throwing in a retired stamp set to those of you who order $50 or more. But you do have to use the host code. So I've got the host code up there on the screen. Jot that down. That host code is also on my blog, Creating with Kristina. Yeah, that's a lot going on right now. I hope you all are having a good Monday. I had a little late start this morning, but all is good. And I hope you enjoyed your little lesson in watercoloring this morning. Remember, all you need to watercolor is an aqua painter, some kind of an acrylic block or plate or something to hold some of your water. If you're going to use watercolor and you do not want your black lines to smear, you need a solvent ink to stamp with called Stays On, and you need some watercolor pencils. Now, you can also, this was one more thing I forgot to mention, these ink pads, you can use these as your watercolor. You just squeeze, come on, turn it, there we go, squeeze your ink pad together like that, and then when you open it, it's got ink on the little plastic palette, so you can use that as your watercolor also. All right, so you don't have to actually have the watercolor pencils. I just like the pencils because I can get more detailed coloring that way. Okay, all right, I will see you back here Wednesday for our Creative Card Challenge. If you have not entered the Creative Card Challenge on Creating with Kristina's page, pinned to the top is the post where you post your picture of your card you make for the challenge. That's the only place that I will look to enter you for the challenge, okay? So if you want to enter, you need to be sure you have posted your picture there. And I will be back Wednesday for a drawing for your chance to win a prize and to give you another challenge on Wednesday. Okay, you guys have a great Wednesday. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.